friends, Kaylin here at Full Purpose and Heart, and I wanted you to look here at the Beginning Geography product that's made by Evan Moor. It's grades K through 2, and it is a fantastic resource that you can use if you're trying to learn a little bit about geography before you jump into a real dense geography unit. So let's jump into this product and I'll show you a little bit about what you'll be getting if you choose to use this resource. Now, the thing that I noticed most about this resource is it really is made to be reproduced. Many of the pages have a back-to-back option that if you use or you cut up, there's like a cut and paste. So if you cut up one side, then the other side is going to have be ruined. So I'll show you those pages here in just a minute. But let's just dive into here and I'll show you what we've got. Okay, so Beginning Geography is going to come in 4 sections. 3 of those sections are going to have activities that go along with it. This 4th section is really just pages that you can use to complement animals around the world topics that you're covering in either any of these 3 areas, or if you have a supplemental unit that you want to talk about with animals or a reading activity or something, then that's really what these pages are going to be useful for. And I'll show you those when we get there, okay? So each of those 3 main sections are going to be divided up like this. So your opening section is going to be kind of an overview of it. So you have what the element is, the world is the world in spatial terms, and this is the standard that it's going to cover: how to use maps and other geographic representations, tools, and technologies to acquire, process, and report information from a spatial perspective. Okay? There's reproducible pages. It comes with assessments, and then this is the activities that you're going to get. So there are 9 concepts that the unit is going to cover. Each concept is going to have 3 activities that go along with it. Each activity is 1 page, okay? So that's where you're going to want to reproduce these pages, are these. Now, some of them you will notice that you don't have to reproduce them, but others of them are going to be cut and paste, which I'll show you here in just a minute, and that you will want to reproduce. This is the example of that. So you'll see here it says glue. You've got north, south, east, west. You're going to glue these pages, but they have an activity on this side. So if you did cut and paste, then this fancy compass rose you would not be able to do that activity. Another thing that I'm just going to point out here is many of these activities are the same that you would find in the Daily Geography Grade 1 book, because that's what I've been doing with my son, and they look really familiar. Not all of them, but some of them. So like this compass rose map thing, that's familiar. I recognize that. These activities, however, are not. So not every activity is, but some of them are familiar. This one, for example, is one that's in that Daily Geography. So if you're planning on doing a Daily Geography, I would recommend you choose one or the other. If you did, like I did, the Daily Geography one first, then you'll want to pick this one up at the landforms unit, okay? So here's a couple of these pages here. Oh, we missed it. Okay, here's the landforms page. You'll notice it's set up the exact same as the previous unit. So it tells you what the section is about, your essential elements, the standards you're going to cover. Reproducible activities, there are 29 activities. And then we have the assessments here at the bottom that you can then give your students. This unit is going to have 6 concepts that you're going to cover. Most of the concepts have 3. Oceans, lakes, and rivers has 4, and then landforms and bodies of water has 2. Each of these activities is 1 page long, okay? So hills and mountains, part of a hill. Again, here's that cut and glue, whereas if you did not duplicate it, you would be destroying the other side of the page. So you'll want to make sure that you're cutting and gluing those pages that need to be reproduced, okay? Volcanoes. Okay, these pages are center activities, or you can just make games out of them, and they're puzzle pieces. So it's kind of an interactive game. You can have your student color these, or you can color them, and then you cut them up and laminate them, and you can make them into a fun little game. So that's kind of fun. Again, we've got that back-to-back copying, so you want to make sure that you duplicate the pages. And then they also have these little, I think that this is actually intended to be a book, but you can make it kind of like flashcards too. So these are just a cute little activity that you can then duplicate and have your student complete at the end of the landforms unit. Or you can do it at the beginning and they can read it every day, or do it as a part of their daily studies. Here is your review, second review, and review number 3. Okay, then you move on to section 3. This is continents and oceans. Set up the same way. You have 3 assessments at the end. This particular unit has 4 areas: continents and oceans, the globe, the 7 continents, and additional materials. So you'll notice that it's set up slightly different. This has 2, 7 activities here, and then 2 at the end for the materials at the end. These additional materials are similar to the ones where you have the continent matching game, and then this is write your world address, okay? So here are these pages. Some of them are similar images that are in the Daily Geography Grade 1 book that I have right now that my student is using, but most of these are very different, so... Okay, there's the center activity, so you can laminate the cards, cut them out, and then each student can match the cards. So here we have the name of the continent, and then you match it with wherever Africa is, right here. Sorry, I didn't know where it was. All right, here's your world address. And then these are your assessments. Number 1, assessment number 2, assessment number 3. And you will notice that these assessments are kind of based on like their graduating levels. So you can give them throughout the unit just to kind of gauge their progress instead of just waiting until the end. You could also wait to the end and based on their grade level or their comprehension level, decide which review would be best for your student. So this is the last unit that I was talking about, the Around the World with Animals. They don't necessarily have activities. They only have reproducibles of each of the continents, as well as a world map. So that's these pages here. And they just kind of go through and put different kinds of animals that you can find in each of the parts of the continents, I apologize. And it's not comprehensive, so it's just the main animals that first and second graders will be familiar with. Here at the end, you have your answer key in case any of the concepts are confusing or the questions don't make any sense. You can go through and do that. And then it also comes with this nice map here at the end. One side is landforms and bodies of water. The other side is your continents and oceans. So there's 2 nice maps that come with it, and you can, put those on your wall so that you always have them while you're covering that unit. So anyway, this is going to be a really great resource. I'm excited about using it. Follow along in my Our Homeschool Life video so you can see how I integrate this and what I think about it as we're going through it. Thanks so much, guys.